Namaskaram, my dear seekers. It's a great pleasure and privilege to connect with you once again on the topic of theory of happiness. So, going forward, let me introduce one more concept of understanding this complex subject of happiness. So, for some historical reasons, that right from our childhood we have been defined that happiness will be derived out of some life experiences, as we have seen in the previous sessions. So, so we all wanted to go through various experiences, and those experiences are predominantly connected with the body level consciousness. So we hardly experienced any kind of subtle experiences in life which is beyond the body level of consciousness. So going forward, let us examine that where the pleasure is coming and where the happiness is coming, from where the bliss is coming, and so on, which we have seen in the previous sessions. So I have not introduced one more concept which is on the negative side of our state of our being. So if you look at the nature at large, you find that the entire creation seems to be quite busy from the morning till evening without setting any target, but their life is rolling on a regular basis. So the birds and animals, they get up in the morning and then they start looking for their food, and then they seem to be quite peaceful. So in my house just in front of me here, there are a lot of birds used to come, and I used to have the privilege of feeding them little bit, trying to get acquaintance with them over a period of time. So they very confidently come in the morning for their breakfast and lunch and dinner and so on. So I noticed them seem to be quite peaceful, and then the so-called life for them is rolling on its own basis, as Sadhguru was talking yesterday. So life is like a wheel, it keeps on rolling, whether you like it or don't like it. So as long as we are alive and breathing, so life keeps on rolling. So some of us are very conscious of the time and some of us are not, and we are consumed by the routine aspects of life. So in the human being, if you look at, we have a peculiar concept of getting bored. Sometimes we get bored. So now all of you will easily understand what you mean by boredom is all about. In the house that we are locked down right now, and we have a limited activities to do, although some of the men are very busy with their office work, more busy than probably what they were before. So many people say that they are being utilized much more deeply than ever before, because they don't need to travel, they don't need to even do their routine chores in the morning and so on. So some of the people are getting bored because they feel that the sameness, doing the same activity again and again, causes boredom. So we never examined what boredom is really all about. It's a negative happiness basically. That means during the boredom you cannot stand up and start dancing or listen to a music and enjoy, or can't go and freely talk to somebody and exchange your views and so on. So boredom is a state of a being where we don't feel like doing anything. So it is a negative state of happiness. So it's very important to understand why we get bored when rest of the creations are not getting bored. And we generally say that doing the same thing again and again leads to boredom. For example, we don't get bored for drinking a cup of tea. So we continue to drink a cup of tea or a coffee without getting bored. And we continue to eat potato curry or dal and rice and rotis on a daily basis. But we never said we are getting bored, although we are looking for some kind of a variety of food during the weekend. But by and large, we continue to do the same thing again and again. So doing the same thing again and again does not cause boredom. There is something beyond repeatedly causes boredom. So we need to examine that. So, but it's very important to understand the concept of boredom, which is an exclusive prerogative of human beings, because rest of the creation doesn't seem to be getting bored. So, if the boredom continues over a period of time, we get into another state called depression. Depression is a deeper state of boredom. That means that slowly we are losing control and our thoughts are deciding our state of our being. So many people resort to taking antidepressants and sleeping tablets and so on and so forth. Or in America, it is quite popular to go to a psychiatrist or psychoanalyst, they call it. And people very proudly say that they are going for their appointment with the psychiatrist. Like in India, you may say that I am going to the dentist. But in India, we don't feel like telling people that we are going to a psychiatrist. People may think that we are mad. So, at some point in time, people are losing their ability to sleep. As a child, when we were in the belly of the mother, we were sleeping almost 24/7 because there was no necessity to even breathe. And food was coming through the umbilical cord and so on. But when we were born, we were sleeping almost 20 to 23 hours a day. But over a period of time, we have forgot how to sleep. It's very strange, because that was your second nature, and then you forgot how to sleep. So insomnia and the related kind of complications are very common in the highly developed rich countries. So when you have everything and so much of wealth, why you should suffer for want of sleep? So it's very strange, only human beings have got this difficulty. It's very important to understand these levels of negative happiness, you may like to call it that way, which is the boredom and then the depression. At some point in time, life becomes so unbearable for those and then finish their life right away. So that means it's extremely difficult for someone to decide that I don't want to live, I want to end my life. So that means they have gone to such a state that they are not able to bear their own thoughts. So it is very important to understand these mechanisms of negative happiness, which is starting from boredom and leading to depression, and then leading to sleeplessness, and then finally coming to a conclusion to finish our life. So Sadhguru always used to give an example that when you have lost your money in the share market and you don't want to live, just hold your nose and stop breathing. So then you will find that after probably 30 seconds or so, the life will say that go to hell, that I want to live, if you want to die, you die. So that means there is a life essence in us which is keen to live. So that is why we are called a human being. So just remaining as a being is what is really means as a human being. But over a period of time, we have become human doing. So that means we feel that life happens only in doing something. So with the result, we lost our ability to stay alone and be peaceful within us. So it's extremely important to understand that the boredom and depression and then tendency for finishing life is a very important aspect to understand, which is coming because of the non-alignment with life. please try to appreciate the concept of alignment. When you're aligned with the life, that means the way the life wants to roll, and then you are perfectly aligned with that in terms of living your life like any other creations are living. So if you want to understand what do you mean by alignment, just look at the animals. They are perfectly aligned. They eat the food what they are destined to eat, and a tiger doesn't go and prefer to eat probably a grass or a snake or something, because it just eats what it has been designed for, and they are in a state of being all the time, which is really conducive for them to live as per the designer's intention. So I don't want to bring in the word God here, because some people don't like it. So try to understand that there is a operating system in you which has been designed to align with the kind of a food that you are supposed to eat, the kind of a mental state you are supposed to stay on, and remain perfectly aligned with the nature. And just because human beings have been given with a higher level of consciousness, higher thinking capability, and ability to make choices, we have really messed up our life. So, my dear seekers, it's extremely important to understand that are we living our life peacefully or not is a very critical and important item for everybody. So that's all there for this session, and look forward to talk to you more deeply on this subject of theory of happiness. Thank you very much. God bless you. Take care and live safe and healthy.